John in San Diego, you say that I am attacking your views and you want to defend them. What's that mean?
Well, I just wanted to defend some of the grassroots libertarians out there. Seems like the way you characterize us is buying into, big business and set them all free and, screw the little guy. But I think that where I'm coming from is that I used to be a Democrat, and I think that with the realization of just how bad it is, it really kind of wakes you up to the fact that the Democrats and the Republicans seem to be working on the same page. They have
no, they're not, John. They're actually not. There are some very, very large differences. The Republicans want to, in a libertarian way, take Social Security and hand it over to Wall Street. The Democrats don't. The Republicans want to give people vouchers for Medicaid and Medicare so that they have to buy it from for-profit insurance companies. The Democrats don't. They want it run by the government where there's only a 2 or 3% overhead. The Republicans want to deregulate air pollution from the Koch brothers refineries. The Democrats don't. They want to keep that air clean. The Republicans want to deregulate the water pollution from the Koch brothers paper factories from Georgia Pacific. The Democrats don't. I mean, I could do this all day long. There are huge differences between the parties.
Well,
but the difference between the parties or lack of differences between the parties doesn't justify the naivete of most libertarians. Can you identify for me, outside of Somalia, any country in the world that has been run along libertarian lines, and I don't think you'd want to live in Somalia, and has had any success whatsoever? Any time in the history of the world?
I would say that the best example was, old America, but it really hasn't gotten a chance because...
Which old America?
It never really has come to complete,
No, libertarian has never been tried, John, because it doesn't work.
Well, how about this? Okay, you got the Republicans and the Democrats that both work hand in hand and pass stuff like the Patriot Act. And these wars continue, and it just seems like an arguing match.
John, if the libertarians had absolute power, they would love the Patriot Act because it hands more power over to big corporations and takes it away from...
Barack Obama has a power to take the Patriot Act away. Or make, bully pulpit.
John, you're changing the subject. The Patriot Act and libertarianism. Libertarianism is
the things that they work on. You want to point out the differences, and I would say these are lower level issues that we're allowed to talk about and banter, but we're never allowed to address the true issues. Like, for example, 9/11 being a complete inside job, and both parties cooperating with not talking about it. Number two...
Wait a second. What is libertarian... So, as a libertarian, you believe that 9/11 was done by the government, George Bush, I assume?
Well, parts of the government cooperating with big business, cooperating with other governments.
So wouldn't it get worse if you totally freed big business from any government oversight whatsoever?
No, that's not what...
Well, war is very profitable. It seems to me like if the corporations are capable of helping attack America, they would be doing it on a more regular basis, so that we would be throwing more money at them to build larger armies to, quote, protect us.
Well, why don't you get guests on that exposed the multiple smoking guns in 9/11, such as Richard Gage of 9/11 Architects and Engineers.
We've had them on the program. We've had David Ray Griffin on the program. None of that has libertarianism at its core is an economic policy and economic and political policy.
The second big issue is the Federal Reserve.
What does libertarianism have to do with the Federal Reserve?
Well, I would say that both the Democrats and the Republicans and the purchased mainstream media all cooperate into not discussing where our money comes from, the fundamental facts of the way that our banking system works.
What's your alternative, John, to the Fed?
Well, we need to educate the public.
What's your alternative to the Fed?
Well, actually, there's the author of the Money Masters, or the maker of that. He's been studying currency for like 30 years, and there's two different ways of thought. We have gold-backed currency, and I know you don't like that, and there are limitations, and all the bad guys have got all the gold right now, duly noted. But the second option is for a fiat currency. And that's
what we have
now. But what we have now is a private ownership of that fiat currency.
Yeah, well, John, I don't disagree that the Fed should be owned by the Treasury Department.
It's fundamental for everything. If we're all competing with units of Federal Reserve notes as our competitive edge.
But John, you are arguing against libertarianism. Libertarianism says government should not do things, private corporations should do things. You're arguing...
It's a pendulum.
No.
Because nothing's absolute. Because right now we've got, the IRS, seasonal ladies' bank accounts with no charges. We got asset seizures on the freeway. We've got a private for-profit prison industry. We've got a war machine that you admit is going out of control. And
these are all driven by libertarian policies.
No.
It is libertarian policies, John, that say that government should not be taking tax dollars from rich people. Instead, it should be building its police departments and running them by seizing money from criminals. It is libertarian policy. It is.
Should the government be taking money to make elaborate hoaxes on us, to lie to us, to nudge us into certain mindsets, so we're more likely to be cooperative?
Yeah, John, you're not. I don't think you understand, respectfully, libertarian policy, and it sounds like you just watched what's that movie, Zeitgeist, and are developing a theology around that. Libertarianism is basically getting rid of government and replacing it with billionaires, and it doesn't work.